I'm not dependent on punch power, you know. You know what, it takes a lot more than that to be a great fighter. A lot more than that to be a great fighter, so there's various ways I'll win. But I got the fighter spirit, and that's how I'll go in there and break him down with my spirit.
But he can't, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not even equipped to fight this dude. He's not. It's going to have to be a bunch of stuff in there. Joshua will punish this.
Possible for somebody like Anthony Joshua, who is so big and so strong, to even think he's going to take it easy. Because even if he tries to take it easy, he's so powerful, so strong that even those punches that are being easy are still going to hurt.
Anthony Joshua stepped forward and warned Jake Paul at the press event, saying the YouTuber is drifting into delusion if he truly believes he can defeat him. He quietly revealed he's entering this clash mostly for the money, calling it a business move, yet insisted that once they're inside the ropes, he stands as the undeniably superior fighter.
I deliver what I supposed to deliver years ago. I deliver what they ran from. I deliver what he asked for $50 million for. I'm gonna give him a $50 million knockout.
I honestly listen to what people say sometimes. They're avoided, this person's running. I honestly think some people are deluded. Really, I do think that they've got some sort of a long-term concussion, because no one's running. In terms of 50 million, I'm a businessman. If there was 50 million on the table.
Chris Algieri slowly reveals that this fight gives Anthony Joshua the perfect moment to step back into the ring. After a long stretch of inactivity following his recent loss, Joshua can treat this matchup as a steady stepping stone to rebuild confidence and rediscover his competitive rhythm. The fight offers him a chance to secure a major purse while keeping the danger low, almost like a measured sparring session. Algieri stresses that Joshua gains financially, mentally, and physically, making this matchup a calculated path toward a comeback.
What are we talking here? Like, it's going to be an exhibition? No, it's a fight. You're a heavyweight. You're calling out heavyweights. You're calling out a heavyweight. You're calling out Anthony Joshua, former world champion. You're calling him out on short notice. It's a fight. You're going to wear 10-ounce gloves and you're going to fight 10 rounds, and that's what it is. I don't understand any idea of anything else. Oh, it's going to be 8-2s? Is it going to be 15-ounce gloves? What the hell are we doing? This is boxing. You want to fight a real guy? You're fighting a real guy, which I am very respectful. And I respect the hell out of Jake Paul if he does step in the ring with Anthony Joshua. No matter what happens, kid's got balls of steel, and I applaud you.
Well, the reason I say we don't know yet because Jake Paul has fought in his last fight with Gervonta Davis was going to be an exhibition. They had to do that because of the weight difference. This is still a weight difference here. I mean, Anthony.
No, there's not. No, it's not. It's heavyweight. It's the same weight class.
Well, what do you consider Jake Paul? Cruiserweight or heavyweight?
Heavyweight. How much did he weigh his last fight?
He's fought at cruiserweight. He's also fought at heavyweight. Against Tyson was at heavyweight. He was.
What was his last fight? He's a cruiser. He's a heavyweight.
What was his last fight?
It was
his last
Mike
fight was
Tyson.
at cruiser against Chavez. Whatever, you know what I mean. Like the reason Gervonta Davis fight.
He fought Chavez after Tyson. I guess Tyson was that long ago. Wow.
Yeah, it was a year ago. This week, I was looking at my Instagram memories. I was in Dallas, Texas, getting ready for me pooping my pants on Netflix. That was about a year ago. Exhibition. These are questions that are asked. These are questions that are attached.
Eddie Hearn shares that Anthony Joshua is definitely interested in the fight with Jake Paul, yet they have to move carefully because of Paul's unpredictable behavior. He points out that Jake has a pattern of confirming opponents and then canceling or delaying fights at the last second, turning planning and preparation into a constant challenge. Because of this, Joshua's camp stays alert for sudden changes while continuing to train and map out strategy. Hearn notes that if Paul is truly committed to the bout, it becomes a major financial opening for Joshua, possibly one of the biggest paydays of his entire career. At the same time, the promoter underlines the need to balance excitement with caution, making sure Joshua can seize the moment without falling into needless chaos or distractions. Hearn's breakdown shows how crucial both readiness and patience are. Since the unpredictable nature of Jake Paul demands tight management, the focus stays on locking in the fight while protecting Jay.
Who seemed to come to a surprise for many. How close are we to making that fight, Eddie?
Not that close. I mean, there are conversations. There's a lot of hurdles to overcome. But if he's serious about the fight, and if it can get made, there's a very good chance we'll do it.
Is it on Netflix, and what did DAZN have to say of the fact that it made
one of the hurdles to overcome? But we were going to have an 8-round run out in December. Just so happens it might be against Jake Paul.
Have you spoke to Nikisa? I know you're not friends with him. What are the conversations you've had?
That's who we're talking about, you know. And if they're serious, and if it's real, there's a good chance. But listen, we could wake up tomorrow and he's announced another opponent and he just used AJ's name for clout. Listen, I have to respect him if he takes the fight, but who knows?
What do you think Dana White will make of this fight?
I mean, he did Mayweather against McGregor. He doesn't like Jake Paul. I really couldn't care less what he thinks about the fight. AJ's going to make close to or around a career high payday, and we'll take.
Paulie Malignaggi paints the picture clearly. Anthony Joshua will step into this fight with absolute seriousness, even if it's officially billed as an exhibition. He reminds us that Joshua has never once underestimated an opponent, and the moment he walks through those ropes, he brings every ounce of focus, power, and sharp technique he's built across a lifetime. Malignaggi explains how Joshua's discipline, timing, and ring IQ let him spot tiny openings and punish even the smallest mistake. Ryan Garcia echoes the same warning, saying that even if Joshua decides to hold back a little, his natural strength and precision still make every punch dangerously real. Together, their insights reveal the truth Jake Paul must face. This is a genuine physical threat, not a playful crossover moment. The entertainment label doesn't soften the reality. Joshua's experience against elite heavyweights gives him total control over pace, distance, and momentum. And analysts agree that Paul will have to rely on strategy and resilience, because Joshua's power and skill create a high-risk space where any lapse can turn into something serious. In the end, the entire discussion points to one thing. This fight demands respect, and both sides will have to prepare for much more than showmanship.
And if you listen to this, it's definitely out of the bag.
Yeah, Fight for 84, big boxing movie that's hitting Netflix soon about the Olympic 84 team starring Jamie Foxx and Chris Algieri.
I am not starring in anything, but whatever. Yeah, no, I got a credit. I'm in it. I got some lines. So
that's amazing. That is so cool. I mean, this couldn't get any cooler. You're now in the movie, which is absolutely absurd.
Yeah,
what a day.
Hopefully,
what a life.
Hopefully, maybe there'll be more of this. Who knows? Who knows?
I think it's just the beginning. I think this podcast is numbered. Our days are numbered.
No way. I'm never letting this go, Dan. This is. I'm a ride or die.
I hope you get so big and become such a big actor that you are like delaying production because you have to film our podcast in your trailer.
Chris is in his trailer. Wait, he's got to finish his podcast with Dan.
They're like, who's Dan? Johnny Drama style.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, just
when he was on the set
total
for 5
diva.
Towns.
Just total diva in every way possible.
Yes, like we said, this episode is brought to you by ppv.com. December 6th, we're going to see Pitbull Cruz versus Lamont Roach. And guess what? We're going to talk to Lamont Roach on this episode. I caught up with Lamont and to get his thoughts on the fight with Pitbull, to get his thoughts on Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, which we're going to get to in a second, to get his thoughts on 140, potentially fighting at 135. That's coming up in just a little bit with Lamont Roach. Don't forget to order that fight with us at ppv.com and all the good stuff that comes along with that. That's December 6th. Lamont Roach is an awesome interview. Great guy.
Awesome guy. Forget the interview. He's just a good dude. I told you to tell him what's up. You probably didn't.
He said what's up. He goes, where is he? I said, he's on a movie set. He goes, oh, yeah. He's got those movie star looks.
See, that's what I get. But yeah, no, he's a good dude. We see him. He trains down in Florida now. He's over at the Pro Box TV training facility, so we get to see him down there training. He's whipping on all the guys over there. But good people, good dude. Good. His dad's awesome. His brother Jordan's great. He's another one to look out for. I think is he a flyweight? I think he's a flyweight coming up, or a bantamweight. But yeah, great family, good boxing family, great boxing heritage.
Yeah, and I can't wait for that mega card. Big card December 6th, and he's the headliner. So we're going to get to him in a second. Some big news broke. Shocking news. According to Ring Magazine, Anthony Joshua is going to step in for Gervonta Davis and fight Jake Paul, we don't know yet if it's an exhibition. We don't know yet the rule set. We don't know the date. These are preliminary talks that are ongoing. Yes, I work for MVP.
Dave Allen pushes back against the idea that Anthony Joshua should stay away from fighting Jake Paul just because the matchup feels unconventional or built for entertainment. He explains that Joshua is still in peak physical shape, and unlike retired fighters who lose speed or power, Joshua still carries every weapon he needs to dominate once the bell rings. Allen stresses that fans often downplay the seriousness of these kinds of fights, treating them like pure spectacle. But the truth is, Joshua's athleticism, strength, and skill make him a danger in every moment. The commentary makes it clear this fight isn't only about showmanship. Joshua's preparation and experience give him the power to control any opponent in front of him. Allen also points out the gap between perception and reality, warning that casual viewers might overlook the real risks Jake Paul is stepping into. The matchup calls for respect, focus, and recognition of Joshua's elite-level abilities, no matter how much hype surrounds it.
Probably shouldn't be licensed, but Florida are a very kind of easy commission to get. Yeah, it'll be called an exhibition.
It will be an exhibition.
It probably will be called an exhibition.
What's the point?
For me, as long as that fight you mentioned just now, Spencer, as long as that roadmap is there and it's signed that he fights an interim guy as a warm-up afterwards and fights Tyson Fury next year and Fury's on board, I'm great with it. Otherwise, I do think his legacy's damaged if his last fight is with Jake Paul.
An exhibition is a waste of time. They're for retired fighters. For retired fighters, it's a load of rubbish.
Yeah, listen, the guy's still in his athletic prime. I personally don't see the reason why they can't just do the Tyson Fury fight. Why do we need interims?
Well, we all want that.
Yeah, but why do we need interims? Why do we need warm-ups? We're talking about two experienced guys who've been the best, as you just said, of the last 10, 20 years. Let's get the fight on.
It's as ridiculous as Gervonta Davis going in with him, basically, isn't it, with Jake Paul, frankly?
Those different mindsets. And what, again, listening to Eddie today and what he was saying, the damage that Anthony Joshua suffered mentally, not physically, because physically he's still all there, but mentally against Daniel Dubois, he needs to go through that process again. And they said, and that's just the whole getting your hands wrapped up, doing it, whether it's Jake Paul, whether it's a top 100 fighter, you go, that's the way Anthony Joshua ticks. He needs that before going into the... All roads lead to Fury, right? We all know that. Whether Fury...
Analysts point out that Jake Paul is now stepping into the ring with someone much closer to his level in terms of active competition. A sharp contrast to the older or retired fighters he has faced before. While this matchup brings the challenge fans have been waiting for, it also raises the stakes physically for Paul. Commentators emphasize that health and safety cannot be overlooked, because Joshua's skill, power, and experience far surpass anything Paul has ever encountered. The fight may match them in competition, but it carries real danger in terms of what could happen once the gloves are on.
Even bigger than the Mike Tyson fight. It's hard to say, really. Tyson was a big name, but it's going to do numbers regardless, because Joshua is a big name, and then people are going to be tuning in to see Jake Paul get knocked out. Right now, Eddie Hearn talks about Jake Paul taking this Joshua fight.
I mean, my estimations of Jake Paul would go through the roof if he signed to fight Anthony Joshua, because I just can't believe in my mind that he would do something like that. I mean, Gervonta was a smart one because of his size. Like, you know, I think actually he would have had a lot of success against Jake Paul, but the size is a problem. But this would just be, you know, like if Jake Paul was to take the fight with AJ, you'd really have to maybe carry his balls in a wheelbarrow on the ring walk, you know, because AJ wouldn't mess around in there, you know. So it would be huge, but nothing, you know, to tell you it's close, just a few conversations so far.
Damn right, if Jake Paul takes this fight, he's got some major balls on him. And I know people hate influencer boxing, but come on, he's not fighting an old, retired, past the prime MMA fighter. No, he's fighting a legit boxer who's massive, 6'5", 6'6", jacked, 240, 250 pounds, shredded, power puncher. Do we need to remind ourselves of what Joshua did to Francis Ngannou? Francis Ngannou was coming off a pretty good performance over Tyson Fury. He didn't get the win in that fight, but you could argue that he did actually win that fight. And Ngannou, throughout his entire MMA career, in 4-ounce gloves, very rarely got hit. He could take a punch. He's got a big, fat African head. big, thick neck, traps back. He just can't really be hit. And look what Joshua did to Ngannou. Out cold. So what do you think Joshua is going to do to Jake Paul? Jake Paul better start loading up on that Trenbolone. He needs to start eating Anavar like Skittles.
Analysts underline that Anthony Joshua's credentials as an Olympic gold medalist and former heavyweight champion make him a serious threat, no matter the context of the fight. They highlight that his mix of technical skill, raw power, and vast experience sets him leagues apart from anyone Jake Paul has faced before. Joshua's talent for reading an opponent, shifting strategy on the fly, and landing precise, punishing punches means that even the smallest misstep by Paul could be ruthlessly exploited.
Unified champion at the heavyweight division. He is 6'6", 250 pounds. And also, I do think.
Oh my God!
I do. No, Jake Paul 6'1" and about 220. I want to say this though. I think Anthony Joshua, he's made stupid money in his career, dumb money in his career. I don't think he's going to be in a position to be accepting BS terms with Jake Paul if this is really what's going to end up happening. I think we're actually going to get to see Jake Paul against a former heavyweight champion of the world. Do I think that's a smart idea? Absolutely not for Jake Paul. Do I think it would sell? Absolutely. Do I think it'd be very interesting and people would tune in to see if he gets his head knocked off? Absolutely. I genuinely hate to say it.
Experts point out that this fight is anything but casual. It calls for complete focus, careful preparation, and genuine respect for Joshua's capabilities. Analysts draw attention to his physical gifts, reach, strength, and conditioning, which give him a clear edge in controlling both pace and distance inside the ring. Paul, despite his confidence, steps into a space where underestimating a former world champion could carry serious consequences. Commentary highlights how Joshua's battles against elite heavyweights have sharpened his timing, defense, and ring IQ, making him capable of dominating even against an opponent with an unconventional style. The discussion makes it clear that this matchup is a true test of Paul's skills, and Joshua's elite status guarantees a fight that will be fiercely competitive and strategically demanding.
He's Alexander Usyk, who's now the undisputed, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time now after beating all these guys. He was a smaller guy. Went up, he's like 6'2", 6'3", about 200 pounds at first. Now he's probably sitting at about 220, 230. Similar size to Jake Paul. Yeah. Went up and beat all these guys. Granted, Usyk, greatest amateur boxer at that weight class ever. I think it's going to be interesting, but I do think Jake Paul is in a good position.
The only fear is this.
I hate to give him credit.
If Jake Paul gets his block knocked off completely.
Yeah, very possible.
The Jake Paul experiment is over. It's a wrap. Because if you step into the ring, everybody thus far is wondering and has wondered, like, what would happen versus a legitimate boxer?
Yeah.
And in their relative shape. Not a 50-year-old Floyd.
Yeah.
Not a 60-year-old Mike. We've all asked ourselves, well, what happens if you fight a real fighter? The problem is, once you fight a real fighter and you get beat down, the hypothesis is gone. So now we don't need to wait to see the experiment. Y'all know what we do every year. We say the best college team could beat the worst NFL team.
Yeah,
and it's
nasty.
a fun debate.
Yeah.
If you don't really know ball, if you don't really know ball, though, you'll be like, man, but if 10 players on Georgia would start for the Cleveland Browns right now. But if they...
Adeladipo points out that this fight is one of the biggest showdowns, capturing massive attention from fans and media alike. He emphasizes that Anthony Joshua's legacy as a former heavyweight champion and Olympic gold medalist adds weight and excitement, creating a matchup that the world has been eagerly waiting for. Fans are especially drawn to the promise of explosive action and the looming possibility of a knockout, which heightens the intensity and spectacle. Oladipo notes that Joshua's skill, experience, and raw power make him a truly formidable opponent, ensuring the fight will be approached with seriousness rather than mere entertainment. The mix of Joshua's reputation and Paul's popularity fuels enormous interest, turning the bout into a central topic across boxing circles and mainstream audiences alike. The anticipation, media frenzy, and fan discussions all underline just how significant this clash really is.
And this is, for Jake Paul, a much bigger fight than fighting Gervonta Davis. And I mean bigger, not just in the sense of who he's fighting and the size of AJ. I mean bigger in terms of numbers. Like Jake Paul versus AJ does way bigger numbers for me than Gervonta versus AJ. I think this actually does bigger numbers than Terence Crawford versus Canelo. I really do. I think this is, again, if it makes money, it makes sense. Let's talk about the negativity. And look, I get it. Like, if you're like me, I still believe, and look, some might say, well, AJ's just going to pick up, who knows what the numbers are, 80, 100 million, right? And then continue on his trajectory or career to potentially become a world champion again. I don't like this pause, if this is just me. I still believe that AJ can do damage in the heavyweight division. I believe that. Again, some people are like, no, he's done. Okay, cool. I believe that AJ can do damage again. I look at the heavyweight division and I remove Alexander Usyk from it, and I'm like, AJ can beat a lot of those guys. So I like the idea of AJ staying busy and having real fights against real heavyweights. So I'm not a fan of this pause, especially considering that we've not seen AJ in the ring since September 2024. It's a long time. It's a long, long time. So if AJ has this fight, we're not going to see AJ in the ring properly until the spring. It's a long, long time. If AJ was busy, and then had this fight in between, I guess I wouldn't be too mad with it. I get it, right? If someone knocks on your door and says, do you want to fight Jake Paul for 100 million? You're like, you'd be stupid to say no. No, I don't want that 100 million for what would be and will be.
That's a wrap for today's video. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.